Hi everyone. In this video I'll show you how to draw a cat, and in this case it's my beautiful cat Bunny. I'm sad to say that Bun passed away last week, and I'm using a reference photo I took a couple of months ago. I always draw a light outline of the main shapes first, and obviously this video has been sped up quite a bit. I will release a longer, slower version for people who might be interested. Bun was a small 7-pound cat, and because of this her head always seemed a bit too large for her body. And to me, that just made her cuter, like a walking Disney character, and I took photos of her all the time. I would lie down on my stomach to make her tiny form look heroic. To create white whiskers that will show up against a darker background, I outline each one so they look like pieces of spaghetti, and then I fill in the spaces between them with a sharp pencil. It's the hardest part of this drawing, but this technique has always worked for me. I'm using a variety of pencils here. This is a standard number 2 pencil, and so is the automatic pencil I just used. I also have darker pencils, a 4B, a 6B, and an Ebony pencil, and a very light 4H, along with an eraser, a blending stump, and a cotton ball. I'm sort of skipping around all over the head here, trying to map out the tabby pattern and starting to add the texture of Bun's short fur. And her whiskers are starting to show up now as I make the fur behind them darker. Getting a good resemblance here is important to me, so I'm spending a long time with Bun's head. Bun was the best girl, and she was always so sweet and interested in everything I did. She was never aloof, and she had a way of making prolonged eye contact with me that made her seem almost human at times. She had a language of meows that she used with me, a squeaky one for her wet food, a little chirp when she wanted me to follow her, and a snappy one when she wanted to go outside, among others. She was such a smart girl. Now that I feel like the head's off to a good start, I'm moving on to the rest of her fur. I'm establishing her stripes and shadowy areas on her legs, just blocking them in loosely. The line of Bun's back is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. The relationship between the size of her head and her slightly larger shoulder area and her big back legs was so pleasing to me. I always say that in order to make something look three-dimensional, you need to have light, medium, and dark values, and I build my darks up slowly. Drawing the tabby pattern is a great way to practice creating a variety of values. I've slid a piece of paper between my hand and the drawing so I won't smear my work. I'm adding some of the darkest parts, including her feet and some stripes, with an ebony pencil. In this drawing, Bun is facing the sun, which was one of her favorite poses, so her chest and the left side of her legs are almost completely white in this drawing. The new dark parts are making me want to intensify the black stripes on her head. Her back and most of the fur on her back leg is in shadow, and this requires some dark shading. When we were in the sun together, the black stripe on Bun's back absorbed heat, and I was always amazed at how quickly it became warm. Now I'm blocking out the stripes on her leg, and in case you didn't know, Bun had no tail, so that's one less thing for me to draw. I'm putting a shadow in beneath her, and I'll continue to intensify the darks here. I used a cotton ball to soften some big areas, and now my blending stump is taking care of some details. And this is where the drawing really came to life for me. I'm shading around the light side of her face and chest, including her whiskers. I'm shading in between those, and they're starting to pop out from the background. The shading also defines Bun's nose and ears. I'm using an automatic pencil for this job because nothing else was sharp enough to get in between those whiskers, so I'm going to continue using it for the rest of the shading. It's a little liney, but I'll smooth it out soon. And now I'm defining the soft fur on her chest in a similar way. Here's the blending stump. It'll bring everything together. I'm going to scribble on the paper and pick up some of the graphite with a cotton ball to create a soft shadow on the right side, and I'll use it on the left side too. And now it's all about deepening the black areas some more with a 6B pencil. This will create mini stripes and add more texture to her fur. Throughout this drawing, I've attempted to shade in the direction that the fur is growing. I try to keep my darks consistent and use them throughout the drawing. The black on her back matches the black on her face, stripes, and paws. My camera and lighting setup makes my drawings appear a little lighter than they are in real life. My husband Jeff loves Bun as much as I do, and he was worried that drawing her might upset me, but honestly it didn't. The problem-solving part of my brain took over as I worked because I wanted to do Bun's beauty justice, but I got a little choked up once I finished. And here's the finished drawing of my beautiful bunny. Bun liked to watch me paint, and she really liked to drink my paint water while it was still fresh. How could I refuse my sweet girl? I love you, Bunny.